What's going on, UCLA fans? I know a lot of people have been waiting for me to talk about UCLA. The minority of you and college football fans who are on this channel. Here I am to finally talk about the UCLA Bruins to preview the season. I know we're less than, I think, 4 weeks away, 3 weeks away as I'm making this video. And first of all, recapping last season. It was a rough 4-8 season. I know the record probably speaks for itself. But here's the thing, is that this team was never given a fair chance. And what I mean by that, it's not because of Neuheisel. I'm not trying to defend him. But the team was injured before the season started. Dayton Jones was out. There were ineligibilities. There was guys now who's kicked off the team, like Stan Hosiak. He was not eligible. Jeff Baca was ineligible. The offensive line was hurt. And I was just sick and tired of hearing the injuries to Kevin Prince for the 5,000th time. It's really annoying that this team cannot be healthy, no matter what the situation is. So last year, yeah, the team was given a very small chance of winning because of the injuries they had, and as expected, they went 4-8 because of the injuries. I don't know how they got wins, but I think Houston they won only because of talent and athletes, but Texas was bad. Oregon State happened to have a down year, and then so did Washington State. Not very impressive. So going on in this season, Neuheisel cleaned out some of the coaching staff, specifically both coordinators. Chuck Bolo, goodbye. Goodbye Norm Chow. You know, people might say he's a great coordinator, but what did he do with us? He failed to develop our quarterbacks. And you saw, for those who watched Richard Breho out there, it was really awful because he looked lost. He might be a system quarterback, but Norm Chow and the company did not develop him. There were relationship troubles with him and Neuheisel, and then of course on defense, Chuck Bolo was very passive. I think, it was very soft. If those who watched the defense, they were young last year, not trying to make excuses, but the scheme was passive and awful. So enter Joe Tercey, who is now the defensive coordinator, a guy who it's pretty much what Neuheisel wanted in a guy that could force turnovers, which is what he did at Cincinnati and South Florida. I like that hire. Offensive coordinator, Mike Johnson, guy who was once on the 49ers. I think he took over after Jimmy Ray was fired. He took over for the rest of the last season. This is going to be an interesting learning curve because the offense will have a bunch of guys coaching the staff. I think Jim Mastro, guy from Nevada, he was an assistant under Chris Alt, to run the pistol. And hiring Mastro is pretty much a sign we're still using the pistol in UCLA. And Neuheisel claims that he could develop these quarterbacks himself. And it's very worried just because of the problems that we've had on offense over the years. The Mastro should be a good hire because the running game was a strength. It could even get better because of now we have a guy from Nevada who actually knows the system much better than Norm Chow did. On the defensive side, you also got a coach, Inoki Bechterfield, I believe, who was hired, I think, from Hawaii. If I'm wrong, correct me there, but he's the defensive line coach, and I expect a lot of good improvements there. Now, going on to this season and the roster, the defense, I think, will be fine. Specifically the safeties and Dietrich Riley and Tony Dye. People might make a deal that Raheem Moore is gone, but he was overrated. I think that sophomore year where he had like 10 interceptions, 9 interceptions, a lot of those were against weak opponents. 3 of them came against, I think San Diego State, and the other 2 came against Jonathan Crompton in Tennessee. So not really worth it. I think Raheem Moore kind of made a foolish decision, but whatever. I'm not that worried that we lost Moore as much as other people expect. Because Dietrich Riley, I expect him to come in and go well. Sheldon Price and Aaron Hester are the corners. Both guys I think are pretty solid. I think they should be fine because they're returning. Coming on to the linebackers, you have Patrick Larimore. Yeah, of course, Akeem Ayers is gone. He went to the NFL. Pretty much, Ayers kind of declined in the second half after getting hurt. He had a great first half, injury second half, and he faded. Patrick Larimore, Jordan Zumwalt expected to take over linebacker. Sean Westgate will be there too. Larimore was also out for the second half of the season and forced Zumwalt to come in. But to see the young talent develop, the defense should be fine, once again at linebacker. And then the defensive line. Of course, there was David Carter is gone, as most of us know. You have, of course, Owagmabeyo Digizua. He was the really highly touted defensive lineman. He should be going well this sophomore season. And then you got Dayton Jones, which was huge. He needs to stay healthy because last year he was out the entire year. I can't wait to see Jones come in and play. Cassius Marsh is also another guy who should be up on the rise. You got Nate Chandler still there. Just the defense, I think, will be very underrated. A lot of people are going to be sliding them because of last year's stats. But I think Tercey will know what he's doing with the defense, and I expect major improvements there. It might have to carry us in some of these games. Well, on the offensive side of the ball, you got the running game, which was solid. But I know people will say Jonathan Franklin's a dark horse Heisman. Some people would openly say that because of the yards he had. But there's nowhere close because he fumbled the ball at least once a game. If you were watching him, he would fumble a lot, and we need to stop seeing that. Other guys that might be there is Malcolm Jones, Jordan James. I'm not sure if we'll see them too much on the bench chart, but those are your running backs. Anthony Barr playing F-back should be okay. The receivers had a down year, and maybe it was the quarterback play, but Nelson Rosario, Taylor Embry, didn't see a whole lot from them. And then Corey Harkey at tight end was awful last year for some reason. I don't get why, but it probably was the quarterback play that made an issue. Morrell Presley, as we all know, transferred. I think that's going to be that's not really a huge loss. It's terrible how many busts there are recruiting wise, but from what those who watched him, he was pretty awful playing tight end or F back. I just couldn't stand it. Also, I think you have Joseph Faria, who is also the other tight end from the Notre Dame tight end, should be hopefully learn to make an impact. And then Shaquille Evans from Notre Dame is eligible this year, so I expect him to also play a role with Josh Smith, who's doing the kick returns. The offensive line is the question mark of all question marks. I think, none of them give the quarterbacks, or very few of them have given good pass protection. We got the running gaps, we got the holes, but still just a lot of questions at the offensive line. I don't know who's going to be there, who's not, because a lot of guys have come and left. A lot of guys have been injured, and a lot of guys are just not producing the way we need them to. This is where it's hard to have your faith in this position. Hasiak, I believe, was kicked off the team. Nick Abele, a while back, was forced to retire thanks to an injury. And then you just got guys ineligible like Jeff Baca, as said before. Hopefully Kai Mayava is back healthy. A lot of Chris Ward should be played all right. Scheller, Harris should be okay. Then you got the quarterback position. You got Kevin Prince, a guy. I think he gives you the best chance to win, best opportunity. But it's always that he's injured, and I'm sick of that. I think if he's 100% healthy and we have a decent blocking O-line and we get to a bowl game, we could get 7 or 8 wins if the team is healthy and the offensive line plays up to its abilities. Because I think Kevin Prince is a good quarterback, but he was injured and never 100% last year. Those of you who probably looking at his stats for last season, it wasn't so good because he was injured and half the time he was running for his life with an offensive line who couldn't block for him. So, yeah, the offensive line, this is what will hinge this team of being good or being disastrous. As we all know, this is the do-or-die season for Rick Neuheisel. I don't know who has the biggest hot seat in the nation, but Rick Neuheisel is most likely one of them, number 1 or number 2. Maybe Mark Richt of Georgia is up there, Paul Wolf of Washington State, but Neuheisel's got a lot of heat on him, and he needs to make at least 7 wins, 8 wins probably to save his job. A lot of guys are returning, but still a lot of things are up in the air because the offensive line has just had hard time to have faith in them. The quarterback play has been incompetent since Drew Olson was like the last quarterback they've had that's been relevant for quite some time. So I need to see some improvements. I need to see them now because this is do or die. And most doubters, most experts have UCLA finishing 5th in the South or finishing even dead last behind Colorado. Some people are going that far back with this team, and this is it. I don't know what else you can say. If they're competitive in a lot of games, that'd be good, but we need to win games as well. Going on to the schedule, you're going at Houston. Houston going on the road, yeah, it's hard. You got Casey Keenum, But last year it wasn't a trouble, even before Casey Keita went out. They just need to play to their ability and they win. I'm not trying to sound arrogant there, but they should win that game if everybody's healthy and they actually play their A game because they have the athletes to compete that Houston doesn't have. Then you host San Jose State, and I know so a lot of you are wondering who I'm rooting for, but it's UCLA because I've grown up with this team much longer than San Jose State. If you lose that game, you could fire Neuheisel on the spot. There's no excuses. Then you host Texas, which will be a tough game of revenge potentially for Texas. I know they're very frustrated of last year, and that could be a very even matchup. You never know. I don't really believe that preseason ranking Texas has. It doesn't mean anything to me, so see what happens there. Then they go on the road at Oregon State and Stanford. That will be the major tests for the year of the make or break or the real judgment for Neuheisel. If he could split somehow in that road trip, split that series, there's that long shot for the bowl games. Then in the second half, you got some winnable home games. You got Colorado, you got Cal, who is expected to be kind of down, kind of rebuilding. And then you got a tough Arizona State team who a lot of people expect to win the South. So the home games, I think, are very winnable on the schedule. I know people say Texas is a guaranteed loss, but we'll see there. But the road games at Arizona, they lack an offensive line that could be winnable. I know Arizona's had our number for quite some time now, but at Arizona, because their offensive line is down, UCLA has a chance up at the front seven. And then, of course, as I already mentioned before, Oregon State and Stanford will be tough. But the schedule works in their favor because they don't have to play Oregon or Washington, which is really major strength. So this is, best and worst case scenario. The worst case is the offensive line fails again, quarterback plays incompetent, and the defense is forced to carry. Some people have us at 2 or 3 wins if that happens. But the best case scenario, 8 wins, maybe 9 wins. If the offensive line is normal, is able to pass protect Kevin Prince, and Prince is 100% healthy all year, I think this team could win 8 to 9 games. If that happens, that's a major if. But Prince has to stay healthy because Breho has not been exactly the most competent. He's been playing baseball half the way. And then you got Brett Hundley, who's the true freshman. Neuheisel might put him in if he's desperate, but the guy's a true freshman. I would not put him in at all. So yeah, that's about it. That's just the injuries need to stop, and this team needs to start playing their A game if they want to save Neuheisel's job. Let me know what you guys think. If there's any corrections you need to make, just make some comments down below. But go Bruins! I'll be here previewing and talking post game on this channel all season long. So go Bruins, and we'll see y'all later.